Game number 1 of today, we're playing double jungle and we're trying to invade for vision. On our way into the enemy red side, our jungler announces that he's only 1 game away from challenger, so this match means a lot to him, and he's in luck because we invade the red side, dropping vision both on the red buff and raptors. I get an ideal start. We also flank behind the enemy support, securing her flash. This is the perfect start to double jungle. There's nothing I can complain about until... Yep, I didn't buy the goddamn jungle item. This means when we kill the raptor camp, we gain barely any experience, not getting level 2. All we get is a scuffed amount of gold, which is enough to pick up that jungle item. I then rush across the map to try and contest the enemy echo. That perfect start that we were given at level 1 has been wasted. My only focus now is on slowing down echo. While the Echo is messing with me, Rengar's done his clear and he's ready to come and invade. He wants this red buff, but I need it for level 3. He's also already got a red buff, so it's kind of a waste. I take it. He doesn't love it, but that is sometimes just what you have to do. If I give up that camp, I'm not level 3. This next play we're about to do, I don't have my slow, and if that is the reason it doesn't work, I would be kicking myself for not taking the red buff. This was basically one of the first games I played in this new season, and right then was the eureka moment when I realized that tower damage is very different this season, so I'm going to need to start reconsidering some of these suicide tower dives. Our team seems to be very much on tilt. I don't think the top laner realized that I executed under his tower, but he got very angry, the mid lane was angry, Rengar was angry that I was taking his camps, and this game started off in a classic OCE fashion, with most players just not even attempting to win, even though they're probably not behind at all. Our top lane gank earlier paid off, Garen had no flash, so he dies, then we rotate mid, looking to shut down this enemy ADC, who just got a lot of gold from cleaning up that bot tower. We secure a kill onto him, and now things are looking a lot better. This gives Tristana time to catch up. Syndra's ahead, Top's ahead, our jungle should be ahead in experience as well. Fast forwarding 2 minutes, we kill the final Void Grub. Our team has all 6 of them, so we're ahead in objectives as well. But none of this really matters. The team, they're still upset with me, still picking me off and typing a load of bullcrap in the text. This here is our first team fight. The time's now 15 minutes and this Syndra is actively trying to get us to surrender this game. I'm not too certain why he's so desperate to get out. Silas picked up a couple of kills from a team fight, but other than him, no one is substantially ahead in gold. You're gonna see it in a second as well. Keep an eye on the scoreboard. The Silas at this point in time has 10 kills, but no one else has gold. So this is a pretty decent lesson on gold distribution. It's sometimes better to have more gold on every single player than just one, because if you're relying on one player to do all the work, all it takes is some CC to shut them down. And that's why you should never surrender these types of games, or if you're on the flip side, you should try hand over some gold to the other members of your team. Not everyone is completely useless. As soon as we kill the 2 strongest members on the enemy team, the new boss, Atakan, spawns. This gives a global experience boost to the entire team, almost a full level, which obviously, if you're behind, this dramatically catches your team up. We then run the Rift Herald into the tower, which perfectly syncs up with us catching the enemy ADC, and from here, we walk through and open the inhibitor tower. Despite all this success, the Syndra is still trying to forfeit the game. Welcome back to OCE. In very quick succession, the losing team, quote unquote, has now taken Atakan, opened up the top inhib, and has secured the Baron and is trying to end this game. Sadly, the enemy team had enough wave clear to push us off this, so we had to reset. The Elder was now spawning as well, and our Cassante, our most fed member, got caught out and killed before this team fight even started. It wasn't all bad though. We did end up getting control of the Elder pit, and this allowed us to manipulate where the enemy team was going. We pushed the wave, forcing them to split. Some of them had to defend, some of them wanted to defend the Elder. We divided them up and made them make the impossible choice. And with that, we are officially out of my version of ELO Hell. We're now entering my favorite bracket. This is Diamond 1 and then Low Masters. But to get there, you and I must take a leap of faith into the fantasy world. One with plenty of action and plenty of dwarves. I'm talking about the game who's been crowned the best in the fantasy strategy genre for multiple years running. That's why it's still around. That's why it's still so fun to play. I'm sure you've heard of it, but have you ever really tried it? Stick around and I'll give you the best sign-up rewards that are currently available. You definitely won't want to miss out on them. This game has an endless stream of fresh content. There's 15 different factions to choose from, each including so many champions that you can collect, level, and use for battles. Start your raid career off in campaign mode, and once you're skilled enough, put together a team of your strongest warriors and go versus PvE dungeons or even other players at PvP. You've also now got the option to play on both mobile and PC as it's cross-platform. Currently, there's a global event happening called Alice's Adventure. With this event, you can get 5 free legendary champions, including Chestercat, Mad Hatter, both Knave and the Queen of Hearts, and of course, Alice the Wanderer herself. These are available simply by logging in, and on day 7, that's when you unlock Alice. It's available to both new and existing players, but for a limited time only. Also, use the promo code Monkey King. That'll land you another legendary champion, Sun Wukong. On top of that, if you use the QR code or the link in the description to download, you'll get the bonus starter pack, which has 2 epic heroes, Drake and TALLIA. So what are you waiting for? Come join my clan. Download Raid Shadow Legends today. On to game number 2. We're up against a Lilia, so I want to try and take the blue buff from her. I want to slow down her clear times. If we don't, she's just going to run over us. That's almost guaranteed. This level 1 exchange benefits the enemy team more than ours in terms of gold, but it's important to take note that I didn't use my flash in this situation, which means I can get level 2 on one of the camps quite easily and look to invade the Lilia because we did get those wards down. While I'm on the Lilia's blue, Alskana took her red, and he's also taking the Raptors, so we've cleared her out well and truly, and now I'm looking to gank the bot lane. Because we've stolen so many cans from the enemy Lilia, she's forced to either gank or invade, and this time she chose to invade and got mega lucky because she stole the red buff. Unfortunately for the enemy team, everything went in our favor. Honestly, when stuff like that happens early in the game, it is very demoralizing, and I'm almost certain the enemy team was slightly on tilt. But fortunately for them, I didn't go back to base. I got greedy, and it ended up handing them a kill. Whoops. minutes into this match, I swapped out the jungle item for a support. Our ADC is a good player, he's ahead, and we're up against a Lilia who has very quick clear times. It makes sense for us to come back to lane. I'd be flat out lying if I didn't tell you that me coming back to lane wasn't a good thing for our ADC. He would have been much better off if I wasn't here. Not only did we get him killed in this situation, we came back to lane, froze the wave because we're trying to pull him back in the game, right? Great tactic, and I used this to set up the wave so that I can use my ult on the MF. I thought guaranteed that this would net us gold, but the enemy bot lane was playing really well. Like the Lulu's, polymorphs, and her ultimates were well timed, and it just kept going in the enemy's favor. Even though I still like the thought process of me swapping out to go the support item in this match, it does seem that it was a mistake, and it's something I'll probably keep in mind in the future. We move on. I left the bot lane because clearly he's better off on his own. It's just absolutely pointless to stay in a lane where you're hindering the ADC. Okay, I need you guys to prepare yourselves. Take a look at the scoreline. It's 16-17. The time, it's 16 minutes because we're doing a massive jump. 10 to 11 minutes in the future. The scoreline, it's basically the same. These two teams are very evenly matched. I put this team fight in here to show you exactly how close the fights were back and forth. Overall, I think that teamfight did a really good summary of what happened in those 10 minutes. Just very, very close teamfights up until this moment right here. This fight was the first time that we convincingly beat the enemy team in a 5v5. We ended up acing them and heading to the Baron. Okay, so this is what was going through my brain. I'm a very tanky support, and multiple times now, the enemy team have gone for me and been baited. I just wasn't expecting them to fully commit like they did onto me. I wasted the Baron. My bad. We've now fast forwarded 6 minutes into the future. The Baron has respawned. Lilia attempts to make a flash ult play onto our ADC, but she whiffs. And now that her flash is down, this is the perfect time to force the enemy team to come and check this Baron. After a very long game, it was a close match, but it came down to that one team fight, and my positioning, it made it very awkward for the enemy team. You could see they were putting focus onto me, but attempting to deal damage, and they couldn't do both at the same time. We definitely made up for our error. We're now pushing towards Diamond 2. Game number 3, I managed to pick the right skin this time. I just didn't pick the right color. If you haven't noticed, we're playing a lot of double jungle. My plan is actually to climb all the way to Challenger using nothing but double jungle when possible, of course. I know you wanted to see that in Korean. We didn't get a chance to do it, but I don't need the practice for those other champions and playstyles in OCE, so it makes sense right now to do the full run using double jungle before we go to NA, which, by the way, will be late next month, so look forward to that. Refocusing back in on this game, we just invaded, but no one got a ward on the red camp, and I don't know exactly where Shaco is starting. I'm assuming he went to the blue because we all invaded red. This is something that happens commonly, but for whatever reason, I was so focused on these raptors that I didn't notice he had the red buff, so I should have been pinging the Elise off of this side of the map a long time ago. Either way, we end up going to top lane to salvage it, and we pick up a kill onto Irelia, and after it, we recall and head back to the bot lane because there are simply no camps for us to get. That's why you want to split the map into two rather than working together. You may or may not have noticed that, but I walked into Shaco's box, and that's what got me killed. I handed over a kill to the Zeri, and then she ended up picking up another kill onto LeBlanc in the mid lane, 2 kills onto Zeri. Those end up coming back to haunt us in the future. But for the time being, we are this Shaco's worst nightmare, taking so many of his camps right in front of his face. I then used the scrying orb to reveal where Shaco is going. Now that we know he's pathing to the bot lane, this means we can simply go to the top lane and force this tower dive because he's gonna have no backup. The time is now 9 minutes. Our team has a decent hold on this lead. The only one who has gold so far is a Zeri, and that's not even going to come into play until much later in this game. So we are far, far ahead. I'm even holding the wave for my LeBlanc. This always pisses off the enemy team, so it doesn't surprise me one bit that the Shaco has come to try and kill me. They want to break that freeze. As I mentioned earlier, the only player on the enemy team that has any substance to carry this game is this Zeri, so I head back to the bot lane to try and cheese her. I know they're going to be picking up aggression in this lane to try and punish the Corki to further push that lead, which makes it an easy bait for me. We end up securing that kill onto Zeri, getting the shutdown on Corki, but then I realized that the enemy support is playing kind of funny. The only reason he would have to be this aggressive and start walking forward is if Shaco is around us. The poor Shaco just cannot catch a single break. We truly are his worst nightmare this game. Anything he tries to do, we counter it. I end up walking towards Shaco's blue side, sweeping my way through. The way Zeri and Rakan are playing, I feel like I'm spotted, and I could have sworn that he saw me, so I was attempting to run away, but apparently they just didn't see me. And just there, that's my first interaction with the new walls. Thank you very much, Riot. I absolutely love that. Shaco once again attempts to pick me off, but we end up getting the better of him. I managed to steal the red as well. They're in this interesting spot. Even though we have so many more kills than them, they have a lot of gold on crucial members such as Zeri and the Yone. They're pushing this bot tower, and this is the best opportunity for me to counter push. I can pull them away from our towers and also pressure the enemies. There's 675 gold sitting on this tower. What I want to do is take it and run. So I drop the Rift Herald, telling the Corki to use it to run away. I want him to hop in it and channel it to his escape, but he ends up using it on the tower, and now he's just a sitting duck. That simple play, which could have been perfect if Corki had used the Rift Herald the right way, ends up getting us 4 kills, 2 towers, and an inhibitor. We now fast forward 4 minutes into the future. Earlier in this game, Fiora was winning his lane quite convincingly, but then Irelia started roaming to the team fights and Fiora didn't come and help. So we were dealing with them 4v5 for quite some time. Fiora took full advantage of this. Now she has complete control of that side lane and we can abuse it to start these objectives. While he's splitting, we force the main objective. It's not even necessary for us to commit for it. Every time they pull forward to try and stop us, he gets to go further and further into their base. As I had mentioned earlier, the Zeri wouldn't be an issue till later in the game. Well, we are officially at later in the game. She is now a problem. We don't necessarily want these 5v5 fights anymore, but at 30 minutes in this game, an opportunity arises. The enemy team was spotted heading down towards the Drake, which means we can both split push the top and force the Baron. And this means the enemy team, they have to pick between the 2 objectives. Which one would they like to stop? The plan works. We ended up getting the Baron and opening all the inhibitors. Now the plan is very simple. Wait until these super minions hit the base and use our 2 remaining Baron buffs to empower them. There should be no way that we can lose. Unless I get baited in by the Yone. I figured my ult would meet him once he returns to his body, but that is not how it went. The annoying part is I waited there for so goddamn long. All we had to do was wait 30 more seconds and we would have had the freest win. Instead, I end up completely wasting our lead. The Baron buff's gone and the inhibitors end up respawning too. And we're in a disaster situation where the Zeri is so goddamn strong. And it is 110% my fault. To make matters worse, our team gets caught as soon as the Baron spawns, so the enemy team has now got the Baron buff as well. It looks like they're about to win this game, but somehow we are thrown a Hail Mary, the Yone gets caught. Now it's 4v5 and we're pushing down to try and end this game. All I have to do is stop the Zeri from dealing damage to my team, and somehow I managed to do it. He can't seem to get past me. And with Zeri killed, there's no hope for them. Fiora could easily chunk through this base. We do manage to secure this win. Thank goodness, because if we had lost, I would have been tilted over the moon, knowing that it was my one play that cost us this game. Luckily, that's not the case, and we're on our way to Diamond 2. Double Jungle is absolutely demolishing this season. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to check out the sponsor of today's video, Raid Shadow Legends. The download link is in the description, or you can click this little picture right here.